for 17.4, we're doing some similar triangle proofs. And I'll just do a few. They're just all proofs here for the rest of the pages. I'll just do a few, give you an example. But before we begin, some terminology up here, this CASTC and CC or CSSTP. All right, so it's kind of like with the congruent triangles. You remember the corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent, or corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. So if the triangles are similar, then these rules apply. So once you prove the triangle's similar, then their corresponding angles and the corresponding angles are congruent, right? Once the triangles are similar, the angles are congruent. So the corresponding angles of similar triangles are congruent. Okay, so if the angles match up, if the triangles first are similar, then the angles are congruent. Okay, so you've used one of those three rules to show the two triangles are similar. Then after that, you can say the triangles or the angles are congruent. Now for the sides, once you show that two triangles are similar, then the sides are proportional, right? You can set up ratios with the sides. So that's what the next one is. It's corresponding sides, corresponding sides of similar triangles are proportional. All right, so once the two triangles are similar, the sides are proportional. All right, so let's start with a proof here. I'll just do the first one, you can do the next one. So this first statement looks like it's given. EG, so I'm going to mark it on the triangle. EG is parallel with DH. Okay, now I know the triangles are, or the sides are, or those two lines are parallel. That's going to give me some congruent angles. So that's what I should be thinking about using after parallel lines. I should be thinking, okay, what angles can I show are congruent? Because I'm trying to eventually show that these two triangles are similar. So I need two angles congruent, or I need the three sides. Okay, now with similarity, look at your figure. We don't know anything about the sides. So we're gonna have to use angles. So it kind of narrows down our focus a little bit. All right, what angles are congruent? Well, this next statement says angle D is congruent to FEG. So D and FEG, well, what's their relationship? Well, according to these two parallel lines, those are corresponding angles. So I'm gonna write that in. Corresponding angles are congruent. Okay, now I have an angle. Now, where would I use the reflexive property? It'd have to be with an angle because I don't really have a side that's the same in these two triangles. So is there an angle that's in both triangles? Well, yes, there is. This angle is the same in both triangles. So we could say that angle, well, we could say F because it's, there's no other way to say angle F. It's the only angle there with that letter. So we could say angle F is congruent to angle F. Now, if you're doing this proof on your own, without these little hints and helps, you could have went these other two corresponding angles over here and had your two angles. Okay, so there's different ways you could have gone about this one had it been, on your own. Now, the two triangles are similar now because we have two angles, so angle, angle, similarity. All right, you do number 2. That one's working with sides. Over the page. I'll do number 3. Let's see. I'm given BC over CE, AC over CD, so that's given. So I'm going to mark that BC matches with CE. Now, I can't mark them congruent, I'm just saying that they're proportional, right? So I'm just gonna kind of make a note of which ones were those two together, and then AC, I'm just gonna make a couple marks just for me to know which ones we're talking about. All right, so the next statement says vertical angles. Oh, where are my vertical angles? Oh, it looks like angle BCA would be congruent to angle, if I went BCA, I'd have to go ECD. Those angles are vertical, so they're congruent, so I'm gonna mark them now. Okay, so if I had proportional side and an angle, now I have side angle side. Oh, okay. So looks like the triangles are similar according to this next statement. And the reason, we just barely said, because we had the proportional sides and the angle in between them. Now this would be side angle side similarity. So now why is angle A congruent to angle D? Well, once the triangles are similar, the angles are congruent, right? So this is corresponding angles, similar triangles congruent. Okay, once the triangles are similar, the angles are congruent. And now, why are these two lines then parallel? So if AB were to be parallel with DE, I must have shown that two angles are congruent that have some parallel line relationship. Well, where is A and D? A and D. Well, what's the relationship of A and D? According to those two parallel lines, there's your transversal. They're alternate interior angles. So the alternate interior angles converse means that the angles are congruent, so therefore the sides are parallel. All right. On 12, I'll do 6 over here. Let's see, so statement 1, write down LQ is parallel to NP, given. So now I'm kind of doing this all on my own. So I kind of should maybe work backwards a little bit. This is one way to think through proofs. Look at what you need to prove. LMQ is similar to PMN. And then think about, well, what rules do I have? I have angle, side, side, side. So let's see. What do I need in order to prove the two triangles similar? Well, I need one of those rules. So what do I have? Do I have anything with sides in my given? No. But I do have parallel lines, which means LQ and NP, which means I'm going to have congruent angles. So maybe I should kind of think towards angle similarity. All right, let's find some angles. Well, there's several ways you could go about this. You only need 2 to show that they're similar. I'm going to see that notice I have vertical angles here, so I'm going to do the vertical angles. Angle LMQ would be congruent with angle. If I did LMQ, then I'd have to go PMN with the angle, PMN. Those are vertical angles. Okay, now notice that's the same letter arrangement with the triangles, but I'm talking about those angles, not the triangle yet. Okay, now from my parallel lines, I should have some angles. Where are my angles? So probably N and Q. I can use angle N is congruent to angle Q, and I can say N and Q because there's no other angles at that letter. It's just that one angle. So if those two are congruent, which they are, it's because, like in that other proof, there's my transversal, they are alternate interior angles. Alternate interior angles are congruent. Okay, now I have 2. So now the triangles are similar. If you didn't, there is another pair of angles that you could say because of alternate interior, it'd be L and P. So you could have gone that route, but you don't need to, you only need 2 angles. So now the triangles, so therefore the triangle LMQ is similar to triangle PMN by angle similarity. All right, you do the rest.